Okay, that's fine. Boys and girls, if you'd come in. It's on? Okay. If you would come in and go to your seats, just put it right here. Yeah. Okay, just BYOT. Just a few things, Nick. After math, when I leave, I will be going to answer some questions about this lesson. So Mrs. Mack, who taught 3rd grade for a long time with me, will be coming in, and she will be reading a book with you, one of the Monarch Butterfly books. And then she will be starting, depending on how many questions Mrs. Pfister has to answer, she will be starting spelling, and then I will be back. So Mrs. Mack will do just like we are with our spelling and our read aloud. So we just get our snack. I told her the key word is BYOT. So if she says the word BYOT, what should we do?
Raise our hand.
Raise our hand. And there is nothing more that makes me happier is when we follow along with people that are visiting us today. So, anything that you see on your desk, you will just leave it, especially my math friends. All you need today is your pencil box and your folder. All you need is your purple folder and your pencil box today. All you need is your purple folder, your Otter Creek folder, and your pencil box. The less stuff we have, the easier and more room we have today. Okay. 3G, you may line up. Ian, you need to put that away. Yes, when I come back. Thank you, Mrs. Mack. You need to borrow. We are getting... Do you have a pencil, George? Do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay. You actually don't need any of this but this. Okay. Adios. Goodbye. Bye. Maybe not. No. Pass them out. Yep. While we are waiting for Mrs. Gamble's friends to come, Shawnalea and Janice are going to pass out the flashcards. Once you get your flashcards, you can get started. Come on in. Find your partner. Start the timer at 4. Okay, Ian's going to start the timer. So whichever person has decided to go first, you can start practicing your basic facts until the timer goes off. Put it away. That's fine. Fix them up.
Good job. 72. Good job. 22.
What's the rule for doubles or twos? When you multiply something by 2, what do?
You have to add that number.
Add that number, the same number. So 11 is times 2 is the same as 11 plus 11. Excellent.
Good job. 32. Good job. 22. 5 times 8 equals 4. 84. 21. 48. 10. 6 times 12 equals 27. Awesome. 103. 72. 45. 2 times 10. 21. 15. 63. 42. 20. Okay, nice one. 12 times 3. 56. 30. Good job. 16. Which one? 9 times 11 equals 99.
What's the rule with 11?
Like, basically 9 times 1 equals 9, and then just add a number 9.
So then 11 times 8 would be what?
88.
Okay. Excellent.
81.
What's the rule with ones?
16.
Okay, 1 is always the other number. Nice job.
Good job. Love it. Go ahead. 30. 32. Good job. 33. Good job.
What's the rule with zeros?
72.
Anything times 0 is 0. Very good.
Good job. 36. Excellent. Why don't you count your cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Once you count the cards, boys and girls, switch partners. See what your score is yesterday to your score today. Very good. That's excellent. Awesome. Okay.
Timer started. 22. 46. 16. Wait, no. 36. Good job. 44.
Good job.
8. 25. 48. 34. 24. 5 or 0. That is 25. 45. That is 88. 32. That is 44. 30. 12. I mean 30. Oh, 5. 50. 84. Good job. 44. 33. 9. 15.
4. 125. And 36. Thank you.
81. 40.
20.
Good job.
Oh, 64.
That's 36.
88.
99. Thank you.
44.
77. Good.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You can keep going. You can flip them over and do, yep.
84. 44. 18. 21.
What's the rule for 11s?
Gotta fix that. 99. 60 and
So what would be 11 times 7 would be what? Is it? I didn't know that. That was a good guess. I had no idea. It's like you got 11s in that pile. Did not see that.
20. I put 13. 12. 18.
Hold one to him so he can see one at a time. Yeah.
36.
Boys and girls, start counting your cards and putting your bag at the back table. I'm going to give you till 20. So then we should be ready to go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I see one group ready. I should have all eyes on me. We've got a lot to do today. Kind of we're going back to being detectives and working as a detective and also doing like a mathematician to try to find out if we can solve this problem today. So we're going to do some reviewing because we have talked about there are strategies or properties that we're going to learn. And who remembers what is like a property in math? Property. Michaela, what's a property?
A property is like, I think it's like switching around numbers or like.
Okay, when we did the commutative property, we switched around numbers. You're right. But a property in math is like a what?
It's like a pattern that you follow.
Okay, a pattern that you follow or a rule. So we're going to do some reviewing today, and then we're going to start and look at a new problem or a new strategy to help you with multiplication. You need to get out your slate, so get a slate, so you have a slate and a dry erase and your marker. And just like we used with the commutative property, today, the property that we're going to use is going to help us with multiplication. Just like we have rules in school that keep us safe and everybody happy, there are rules in math that are going to make math problems easy for you. They're going to make them easier as you get older. So today, we have pennies. We're going to be working with pennies. And I want you to show me on your board, I would like you to show me a 3x4 array. And then I'd like you to show me, just like I have up here, a second grade way, a third grade way, and if you remember, the commutative property. So show me a 3x4 array. And then show me, just like we've done, the second grade way, the third grade way. You just can write second on your paper, third, and then just put the C. You don't have to write everything Mrs. Pfister wrote. You just put second, third, and a C, just like we've done. A 3x4. So a 3x4 is going to have how many down?
4, 3.
3, and how many across?
4.
Yep. Would you show your slate to your face partners, please? And compare answers and discuss with them? You can join with them. Who would like to come up here and show me what their 3x4 array looked like by using the pennies? So all you need to do is write on the pennies, because today we're going to use a lot with pennies. When we go on as being detectives today in math, we are going to use the pennies. So I want you to come up here and show me a 3x4 array. Who would like to come up here? Danny, you want to come up and show me, just move the pennies to show me a 3x4 array. And you can check your answer with Daniel's. Sometimes the pennies don't want to work as easy. It doesn't have, yeah, that's good. There you go. I'll help you. You want that one? Hey? You got it? It's all right. Keep going. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if he's right. Awesome. I need someone that would come up here and put the second grade way. Because in second grade, we didn't use multiplication. We always did everything with addition. So that last year when you came in here in third grade and you knew this way of doing it, it helped me out to teach you how to use multiplication. So let's have Shawnalee, you may come up. Okay, so look at your problem. How many go down? 3 go down.
And then 4,
So 3 and
3, 3, and 3.
and you had 4, but you were going across. That's okay. You had the right idea, but you just went across. And if you would have went across, how many rows of 4 would you have had?
3.
You got it. Would you have had the same answer? Yes, you would have. Awesome. Who wants to do the 3rd grade way? Reg. How many down?
3.
So what's our first number?
3.
Mm-hmm. Same answer, but we just want to make sure today we go always down and then across. Okay, is your answer the same answer as Shawnalee's? Okay, who would like to go up there and do the commutative property? Nick. And how did you know that was the commutative property?
Because all you do is switch these around, so then it would be 4 down and 3 across, and that would be the commutative property.
Excellent. And both of them could have done it 4 times 3 or 4 plus 4 plus 4. Excellent. Okay, so today, boys and girls, this is, great job. Today, look at our problem. This problem makes it a little bit harder. And when we see this, we still see an array, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an array. Has this array changed? No. This array, Lexi, is a what array?
3 by 4.
A 3 by 4. You see all of this up here? These little marks? Does anyone know what we call those? What do we call these little marks? Yes.
Quote.
They-
Forgot.
When you have a quote in math, it's 2. You're close.
Parentheses.
A parentheses. Excellent. And I'll tell you, when I used to do math, we used to use noodles, and we just say, boys and girls, put the numbers in the parentheses and just add them together or multiply them together. But what I'm going to show you today, we're going to go through this problem together, and then you and your partner are going to get pennies. So I'm going to need some volunteers. Okay, so I'm going to call on you. So look at this. This mark, it moves. Okay? So this bar is going to move, and you're going to get a yellow bar that looks like this. And it's going to go, we're going to put it between the first one. This little plus sign, it's not moving for me, is going to go here. Okay? And I can't seem to move my plus sign. What we're doing is dividing up this problem. The property that we're doing today is called distributive. And distributive property means breaking the problem apart. So if you look at the board, boys and girls, this is on one side of the yellow. This is on the other side of the yellow. Okay? So what we're actually doing is breaking this problem apart to make it easier. Okay? So I need some volunteers that are going to come up here and help me with these arrays. So Mrs. Fisher is going to move this plus sign here. Okay? And we're going to do 4 problems together, because then you are going to do your penny activity with me, with your partner. So this is the first array. Okay? So who can tell me what's this first array you see? That first array is going to be our first parentheses. Okay, do you see how the plus sign is there? And then this is the plus sign? And then this parentheses is the second array. So all we did is kind of, everyone go like this. Cut the array in half. Now if you cut the array in half, is this going to be a smaller number? Yeah. Is it going to be easier? No. We'll have to see. So, who can come up here and tell me what array that is? Abby, what array is that? How many down?
3.
3. And how many across do you see before the yellow?
1.
1. Okay. 3 times 1. What is 3 times 1, everyone? Tell your shoulder partner.
3.
Okay. Who can do this array? What's this array? Sahaja. 3 by 3. So there's 3 and 3 across. What's 3 times 3? Everybody?
9.
Okay, so what's 9 plus 3? What is 9, Alexa, plus 3?
9 plus 3,
12. Okay, now let's move this. Watch. Because when you get your pennies and you're working with person A and person B, you are going to move your plus sign and you're going to move it again. Okay, so we moved it. So we start right here. Now we have one problem. Now what's our second problem going to be? Talk to your shoulder partner and see if you can figure out what am I going to put in this first parentheses. What's going to go in the first parentheses? Put your pencil down, please. Thank you. Who wants to try it? Hannah, what is the first array you see?
I see 2 times 3.
Okay, how many down? 3 times? 2. Okay, what do you see on this side? Nora? 3 by 2. Okay, what is 3 times 2 and 3 times 2? 6 plus 6 is?
12.
What do you notice about these two? They're what? They're the same. So no matter how many times we break this array apart, we still have what?
12.
We still have 12. Okay, let's see if we're true, if that works. Let's move the plus sign. Moved over. Let's move the bar. Okay, now tell your shoulder partner, what array do you see here? Okay, who would like to tell me? George, what do you see?
3 by 3.
A 3 by 3. What do you see on this side? Tess.
3 by 2. Oh,
You got it.
3 by 1.
3 by 1. Okay? 3 times 3 is what, boys and girls?
9.
And 3 times what is what?
3.
And so what's 9 plus 3?
12.
12. Okay, now you are going to try and see if you can do the distributive property and think about how would we use this distributive property in our life. Because we're going to do word problems and see how we can use this in everything that we do every day. Because we're not just going to be making arrays, but how can we use this in what we do? So I need the people that can pick up the folders. And between the two of you, one folder, you can probably work with them. So yeah, the 3 of you. So the first thing, oh, Sahaja. Yeah, you can work with Sahaja. Sorry. So you need your folder. Do you have an extra folder, Meredith? Okay. So the first thing I want, so you can work with Sahaja's table. First thing I want you to do is take out your board and put it between the two of you. Okay? Find the yellow piece of paper. That's your moving sign from one group to the other. Okay? Take out your pennies. You should have pennies. And then you're going to have your piece of paper. This is your directions that is going to guide you and your group through it. Person A, will you raise your hand? Person A is the person that's going to start. So as you are going through this activity, you are going to check off as you do each one of them. And then Mrs. Pfister's going to have you as your group come up and share. So go ahead, take out your pennies, start working on your activity. Look what you're going to do. Who's person A? So you count out the pennies. And then George, what are you going to do? You're going to make an array of a 3 by 5 on there once he does it. Okay? So you're going to make, oh, can you spell? So you're going to put your array right there. Perfect. Yep. So you're going to make your array here, and then you're going to draw it on there. Okay, so what's the first thing you do? Yep, you can do check marks, whichever you like. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, so where you gotta draw it on here. And then your pennies, look, this is where your pennies need to go, Hannah, on here. Because you gotta move your thing, okay? Yep, and use your pennies. Put your pennies on your lines like we did, and then you're gonna draw it on there.
3 by 5.
So he can move it over here and put your pennies on here. Yep, perfect, yep. Awesome. Okay, then you're going to put your pennies on here, just on this, on here. Yep. Just like Mrs. Pfister's pennies. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so you need to put, what does it say? Count your pennies. Did you count them? So put a check. Now it says person B makes a 3 by 5 array. So make a 3. 3 by 5. Yep, you got it. Perfect. Okay, so now, so third grade problem. So how would you write this in the third grade way?
Third grade part. Now, going up and down.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so now is he making his 3 by 5 array? Okay, now you got to put your pennies, so you got to show it your work. So you got to put your 3 pennies here. This is your paper. So put your pennies here. Okay, so put your pennies on here. So show me a 3 by 5. Just like mine. So you need to put yours up here. So you need to show me a 3 by 5. So take your pennies out and show me a 3 by 5. Not right this minute. I can get a pencil probably for you. You can borrow that. Okay, so now, where are you? So now, third grade problem. What's the third grade problem? What's the third grade problem? What? So it goes right here. Right here. Here. But it's not, what is it? It's 3 by 5. Yes. Okay.
So I think what we have to put, don't we have to
Yep, perfect. Yep. And then, yes, you got it, Abby. Okay, now put that right here. Okay, so what are you going to write here? What do you see here and here? And then you're going to move it to the next one and solve it. You got it. You've got it. Awesome. Now, what's the third grade problem? Okay, awesome. Now, you're going to put the plus sign. It says put the plus sign after the first row. Okay? Now you're going to write that problem. What do you see here? Do you see what Mrs. Pfister just did? Okay? Awesome. So can you write that? Awesome job. Let's see. 3 by 1 plus 3 by 4. So what's your answer? What's 3 plus 1 is what? Plus 3 times 4 is what? So put a 3 here. You can put a 3 there. And what do you put here?
make it easy?
What's 3 times 4? 12. And what's 12 plus 3? 15. Is that the same answer? Okay, so now what does it say? It says, now move the plus sign to the second row. So move it to the second row. And you're going to do the exact same thing. Same thing. You're going to get a different answer. You're going to keep moving that plus sign over. Awesome. You move the plus sign over? Awesome. Okay, so now you're going to put your plus sign right in the middle. Excellent. You're going to start it right here. Look what it says. It says put the plus sign after the first row. Now, how many do you have on this side? What is this? Right here. Goes right here. What do you have? Times. Okay, so then she's going to write. Okay, so you've got it. Now what are you going to do? So what did Shauna just told you we're on right here. Okay, so what did she Alexa, what's on she just said what do we see on this side of the plus sign?
3 times 1.
So then we put 3 times 1. What do we see on this side? And then the next problem you're going to move it over. Yeah? Okay, so now, because you haven't finished the problem, so now what's on this side? George, how many's on this side? 3 times, yep, so 3 times 4. So you can put 3 times 4 right here. Okay, so what's the answer? And if you add them together, what do you have? So 3 times 1 is? And 3 times 4 is? 12. And 12 plus 3 is what? 15. Okay, put 15. Now move the plus sign, and you're going to do the next problem. Same thing you just did. And then move it again. Okay? So now you need to write that. What do you see here? What do you see? What do you see on this side? 3 by what?
3 by 1.
Yep.
What do you know about
3 times 2.
Okay, what does it say?
Your team is done. Put pennies and all items away in the bag.
And then you work on those together. So what did it just tell you to do with the pennies in the bag? Yep, perfect.
Did we do this?
Nope, nope. You just work on this. Right now you will. You can leave that out. Yeah, we will. Okay?
Supposed to do this one?
Yep, yep.
Will you move it to the fourth one?
Yes, you do. Perfect. You can leave that board out because you're going to need the board. So you can leave the board out. Okay, keep going. Okay. Yep, and then you can work on these. And you can leave your board out because you're going to need your board. Yep. Okay, so now what do you see here? Move it to the third one, right? Now what's your array? Yep. Perfect. Okay, but we're working on this together, and if you go back here, it says put your pennies away and leave your board out. So put your pennies away before you work on that. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so put your pennies away, and then you guys are working on this. You can leave your boards out. Boys and girls, BYOT. Awesome. Thank you, 3G, for responding to my word of the day. You may leave your boards out. When you finish, you know what you're working on that activity. You're solving some problems, but leave your board out because we're going to do some real life problems on there. So I'm going to give you about 3 more minutes. Go ahead. Okay, go to the second one. So now, see if you can get 2 more done.
All right, 12 times 12 times 3. I mean, yeah, 12 plus 3. I think.
What is 3 times 2? And what does... And then what is 3 times 3? So what does 6 times 12 equal?
You could use your turn to write 2.
It's okay. You can start working on that. That's okay. Just put the pennies in the bag. Where's the bag? Put the pennies in the bag. Awesome.
Yeah, paying money.
4 times 4. 16. How do you use it?
Leave your board out because we're going to use our board. Mrs. Pfister forgot.
Okay, so now do we move it?
Okay, so we moved it all. We should have moved it all the time. So you should have had 1 way, 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think you started a little earlier, so that's okay. So you can start doing this page and putting your pennies away.
Put the pennies away?
Yeah, the pennies can go back in the bag. And then you can work on those questions. How do you know the distributed property and how would you use it in life? How would you use that? Now that we've taken an array and we've divided it in half, how would we use it in our real world? Okay, and then you can work on these.
Times 2.
Yep. So, yep. And then you can work on this. Nope, right there. Anything in there. Yep. Nope, not necessarily what's 3 times 2, but you can put your pennies back in the bag.
Okay. All right. That would be 2. Oh,
Yeah, what? Yep, keep going. Yep. You can use your grid. Your grid will help you. Boys and girls, awesome job. How many think that this distributive property is kind of like breaking things apart and making the problems even easier. Okay. So what I need you to do is all pennies should be put away. And if you can have your board between you, watch Mrs. Pfister. If you can have your board like this and your paper so that you're looking at, let's do the first page, just like this. So I'm going to set this down right between Tess and Danica. And I need some volunteers. And what I want you to do, our goal today is to be able to use this and see how we'd use it in everyday life. You are going to, we're going to go through some of these. So I'm going to ask you to come up here. And quickly, who can come up here and do a, what was it, 3x5 today? Or is it a 5x3 I had you do? 3x5. So who would like to come up and do a 3x5? And they don't have to go to the top. They can stay down here. A 3x5. And then we're going to see who wants to move this and where we want to see. So if we can come up with different ways that your group came up with it. What's the one thing you notice with anywhere you move the yellow strip? Raise your hand. Danica? It always equals the same thing. Because even though we're breaking apart our array, our answer never changes. It just makes it even smaller, the number smaller. Okay? So George, would you like to come up and do a 3x5? 3x5 with the pennies? Move the pennies. If you want to move them just there. Yep, 3x5. Sometimes they stick. Awesome. Sometimes they travel. There we go. And then I had to move this one over here so I could get these problems. Do a bunch of traveling on that one. Oh, you got the bar. That's great. Because the bar travels with. Awesome job. Nice job. Great job, George. Okay. Sean, where would you like me to put this yellow bar? Or Luke. Luke, where would you like me? That's what happens. Where do you want me to move it? Do you want me to put it here, 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 or here? Third row. Right here? Where the plus sign is? Okay. Plus sign is there. Luke. Would you like to solve that problem? Yes? Okay, come on up. So remember, the parentheses are breaking it apart. We do what's inside of the parentheses.
3x2.
So what's our first part?
3x3.
Okay. And the other side? You can solve it if you'd like. So 3 times 3 is what?
9.
And 9 plus 6 is what? Yep. If you agree with him, will you give him a thumbs up? Awesome. Is there somebody else who would like to move the yellow bar? How many think that moving the yellow bar is pretty cool, that it still works? Do you have to have a yellow bar, or could we just take a line and mark it through? We could take, what? Either. You're right. We could just take a piece of paper, we could put a ruler, whatever we wanted to do to break apart an array. Think about it when you're in 4th grade and your teacher gives you a problem that's like 20 times 7. Could you make an array and break it apart? Yes, you could. And you could make it a lot easier. Because then you could have two smaller problems instead of one big problem. So let's move this array, this bar. This is my magical yellow wand. Let's move it. Yes? But if you couldn't do it in your head, mental math, or you could also break it apart. So where do we want to move that? Who have I not heard from? Meredith, which way do you want me to move it? To here? Okay. It's behind this one? You are right. See, Mrs. Pfister, you can't make a PowerPoint and move the plus with the bar, so you have to move them separately. See, teachers have to figure out technology. Meredith, would you like to do this problem? Come on up. As Meredith is coming up here, boys and girls, I want you to think, how would we use this in our everyday life? We're going to share with our face partners in a minute. 3 by 1. Awesome. What do we say to Meredith? Hey, we could keep going and we could keep moving this here and we could move it here. You can move it anywhere you want. Most likely when you did distributive property, you're only going to move it maybe one time, whatever makes it easier for you. Okay. So the distributive property is breaking it apart. There are 3 properties in 3rd grade we learned. And we've learned 2 of them. Okay. Now, with your shoulder partner, when would we use this in real life? Go ahead. Okay, I'll call on you. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Who would like to share? When would we use this property in our life? Noah.
If you had to count money, then you could have to use it at a bank.
Okay. So do you think a bank teller maybe has to divide up some money?
Yes.
Probably, absolutely. Because when you're going to the bank and you get money, they break it apart. How many have ever been to an ATM machine? And when they ask you to take out money, now you can decide how you want the money. You can get just two $20 bills, or you can get all 5s, or you can get all 1s. So even our technology is breaking apart our money. Where else would we use the distributive property? George.
Science.
Okay, how?
Because when I do science, I put vinegar and I have to read how many drops to put in it.
Okay, and sometimes you have to split apart your recipe. Okay, anywhere else where we would use it? Louise.
If you're a teacher, you have to know it.
If you're what?
A teacher.
Yeah, if you're a teacher and you teach 3rd grade, you need to know the distributive property. Absolutely. And I've got one more property I have to learn because there's 3. And those properties that you learn in 3rd grade are to help you with multiplication and division. So just as good as we were with the commutative property, and every time we see 4 times 6, we know that 4 times 6 is the same as? 4 times 6 is the same as? 6 times 4. Or 3 times 2 is the same as? 2 times 3. So it's a lot easier with the commutative, but the distributive, you kind of have to break it apart and think about it. So let's see in real life, I've got 2 problems. If you look at the back of your chart, flip it over. There are 2-story problems there. And these are word problems that might happen. This one actually happens in the library, okay? So I want you to figure out, how can you use the distributive property to solve this problem? Okay, so go ahead and you and your partner try to work on this problem together. Okay, so you guys are going to try to work on this using the distributive property. Yes, you can. So go ahead and see if you can work on that problem. Yep. Yep, this one. Yes. Okay, these are the ones you're working on. This one right here. Now, where do you want to draw your line? Where do you want to divide up your distributive property? Okay, so what are we doing here? 2 rows of 8 chairs. Yes, but where do you want to divide it up? Because I want you to use the distributive way. Where are you going to divide it up to show me? You can keep that. That's perfect. Where do you want to divide up your problem? Okay, do that. Then show me this side and this side. Perfect. Ian, you got it. Where do you want to divide it up? Okay, where would you like to divide up your problem? Okay, so where are you dividing up your problem? If you're going to show me the distributive property, you have to divide up your problem. Okay, so where are you going to divide up your problem? So where did you divide up your problem? Okay, so show me, and then you need your parentheses. Yep, now where's your parentheses? Look at Mrs. Pfister. So what's going to go in your parentheses there? You may do the second one too, the marching band. It's a little bit harder. So this is going to be a 2 times 1, 2, 3. See my parentheses? Boys and girls, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am so impressed to see that when you were solving that problem, you were using the distributive property. So who would like to come up here and show me, Mrs. Pfister, for time, put in the 2 by 8, and when I was walking around, I saw, boys and girls, automatically 2 by 8. It does get a little tricky going 8 by 2, but we think down and across. So 2 by 8. You had to figure out, where did your group want to divide it? So I want to see if I could have 3 different groups come up, divide it, and we have 2 rows of 8 chairs set up in the library for a puppet show. How many chairs are there in all? And it says use the distributive property. So I know you could have just maybe multiplied it, but the thing that Mrs. Pfister wants to see is, can you use the distributive property? So who can come up here, divide it where their group did, and put down what their answer was. So Lexi and Nick, you guys want to come up together?
Sure.
And hopefully we'll get 3 people up here, 3 groups. So where do you want to divide it? Can you divide it in a different color than blue? That's just because my little marks. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so where did you guys divide it? Okay, and what is your problem? You can just write right on there. Perfect. Okay, are they correct?
Yes.
Who can do it somewhere different? Awesome job. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay? So 2 times 4 plus 2 times 4. 8 plus 8 is? That's okay. Who else would like to come up in their group and divide it in a different spot? So not down this, they can't go down where this group divided, somewhere different. There's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you want to divide it up is fine, as long as you've got both of your new arrays in the parentheses. Okay? So this is what everyday life, when Mrs. Pfister said setting up desks, I'm grouping them and putting them together. I use as a teacher a lot of this property. So what, can I have one more, or see, who is not? I think I've gotten Sahaja, Meredith, where would you like to divide it up? Okay, and what do you want to put in the parentheses? Underneath it? Right here, put it right here. So let Mrs. Pfister put these parentheses in for you. Hold on, let me put the parentheses in. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so what numbers? So you broke it up here, right? So what is this whole array going to be? How many here? And how many, Meredith, across? 7. Okay, now what's this array? How many down? Sahaja, how many down? 2. So we have 2 down, right? And Meredith, how many do we? Got it. Put your 2 down. And how many across? 1. And what's your answer going to be? 16. And I think we have time for one more. Okay? So boys and girls, do we use the distributive, Gavin? Do we use the distributive property in our life? Yes. More than what we think we do. Okay? So let me get one more group that can come up here that wants to break it apart for me. Abby and Louise, you want to come and break it apart? And let's use the green. And I am so impressed. And let's see if this group can end us today. Because all the distributed property is doing is breaking things apart. So they broke it apart there. So let Mrs. Pfister. So can you put the last one in for us today? So what's it going to be, Abby? A 2 by, and your last one's going to be? How many? How many do you see? Oh, you're here. How many?
2.
Okay, and how many across?
6.
Okay. So 6 times 2 is?
12. 4.
12 plus 4 is?
16. 6. Oh.
That's okay. So boys and girls, tell your neighbor, your shoulder partner, great job. What is the distributive property? Tell your shoulder partner, what is the distributive property? What is the distributive property? Is there breaking? Okay. 5, 4. Boys and girls, 3, 2, 1. We've learned 2 properties right now. And we're going to close with the 2. So, commutative property, 4 times 3 would be the same as what?
3 times 4.
And when we're doing the distributive property, we need to what? Divide up your array. Awesome. And then there is one more property, boys and girls. In probably a week, we will learn the last one. Outstanding job. Give yourself a pat on the back. And I need you to put all of your things in your folder. Leave your all the papers. Put your things on here. There is no math homework tonight. Nice job.
Nice job, everybody.
Great job. You did awesome. Put everything on the stool for me.
Thank you, Mr.
Yikes.